Captain America: The First Avenger was released 2 months after Thor and was directed by Joe Johnston. However, what made this film different from other MCU films was that it was kind of a prequel. It took place in World War II, because it was the origin story of Captain America. We needed that. So as you guys know, when I was like 13, I was looking up any information I could find on these movies just to find out who was casted as these characters and, you know, when they were coming out and everything. I was on the computer a lot as a kid trying to find out any updates on these movies whatsoever, especially Captain America, because I love Captain America. And when I heard that Chris Evans was playing Captain America, I was not too happy whatsoever, because they basically casted the Human Torch as Captain America. And when I thought of Captain America at the time, I didn't think of Chris Evans as Captain America. He was too much of a comedic character, and I wanted someone serious and respectful to play the role. However, I can't think of anyone else to play this character. Chris Evans kills it as Captain America, and I respect him in this role. I really do. It's so hard not to respect him as a character in this film, because he's essentially kind of like the earlier Spider-Man for the MCU. He's a little guy. No one really respects him, and he's bullied. And he wants to go off to the war to stop the Nazis. He doesn't want to kill Nazis, he just wants to stop them. He thinks they're bullies, and he doesn't like bullies, and it's perfectly established in this film. And with this character, this film was just so much fun, and you have to admire it to a certain level. It does have problems, but it's very enjoyable, and you can't help to smile when you see this small dude turn into Captain America. And he's also a gentleman in this film, and you see that when he's interacting with Peggy Carter. And how the relationship builds is actually really cute, and it's very respectable as well, because we see Peggy Carter, and she's not respected either. She's a woman who is in World War II, and like she said in the film, the door's been shut in her face plenty of times because she is a female. So when you have these two characters who are going through the same kind of issues, you would understand why they would come together at the ending of the film. So their relationship, in comparison to other MCU relationships, is very believable, and it's very respectful as well. Also, there's a scene where he finally turns into this super soldier, and it's pretty freaking sweet. He comes out with a six-pack, and I guarantee you, every man in that movie theater at the time when this movie came out was like, I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy. I want to come out with a six-pack. Steroids. I'm sure there were a lot of steroids that were received after this movie. Oh god, drug references. I should probably stay away from that on this channel. But no, as like an audience member, it's actually like really cool. It's really cool to see how you see this small guy turn into the super soldier. And it was really amazing just to see him, not just like, you know, with the six-pack. It was amazing to see him as a small guy as well. They did a really good job CGI-wise turning him into this small being, really. He was just so skinny. Chris Evans does not look like that in real life. They had to like do that with CGI, and it was so believable on the screen. Nothing about that was fake. I actually thought that he was that skinny. We also see his friendship with Bucky in this film, which plays a very huge role in other films to come in the future, and you see that it's a very cool friendship. Steve respects Bucky because he's going off to war. Bucky respects Steve because he wants to go off to the war. So you can understand why these characters are friends. And the dialogue from them and everyone else in this film is so funny. It's very charming dialogue, and it's not like I was laughing, but I chuckled a lot. It's that kind of dialogue where it's very charming and it's very humorous, really. Not funny, but humorous dialogue. And it's so cool to see this first action scene where Steve Rogers is chasing this guy, he's shooting at him, but he gets in a submarine, and Captain America gets into the ocean and takes him out of that submarine. Like, it's that kind of movie that you would eat popcorn to. Like, if you're like so invested to what is happening on the screen, you're eating like popcorn, it's like, this is bringing me in so hard. That sounded sexual, I'm sorry. It's just a really, really fun flick. However, it does have its problems though. For example, Tommy Lee Jones, the Colonel in this movie, after he sees that a super soldier has finally been made, at first, he doesn't use him. What? Like, he just sees like this super soldier and he's like, I should have gotten more of you, but the scientist is dead, so now we can't make more. You're the only one. Okay, he's the only one, but like, you can still use him. He would be very pivotal to winning the war, and you don't use him whatsoever. He like took down a guy who was shooting at him, who got into a submarine, and he pulled him out. That could be very useful in the war, but you decide not to use him. That's stupid. That's stupid! Also, let's talk about Red Skull. This isn't a negative, but I see where people are coming from in regards to the villain of Red Skull in this movie. I like the character design. I really do, because if you think about it, it's the most true to comic villain character design that we have seen in a Marvel universe so far. Like, if you look at Jessica Jones now, Kilgrave isn't Purple Man. They didn't make him purple. They could have easily just went with like a Nazi dictator, but no. They decided to give him an actual Red Skull. And that's something I really admired about this film, was they stuck with the true character design of Red Skull. And I get people's complaints. He's not that menacing in the film. He's kind of a cliche Nazi dictator. But what exactly were you guys looking for? I mean, sure, he's not menacing enough, but it's still cool that we got the Red Skull in this movie. But the one problem that I did have with this film was that when we reached that second half, I really did feel like everything was rushed. And when I say that everything was rushed, I mean equivalent to X-Men Origins Wolverine, where we see Wolverine going throughout the different wars in the beginning of that film. It felt like that, but in the middle of Captain America. Like, after we reached that second half, it felt like they were just wanting to finish the movie. They wanted him to be in the Avengers. And if you think about it, looking back at Bucky's death scene, it feels as though that was actually rushed as well. Captain America should have been grieving more and more in this film. There's one scene where he's in the bar and he's feeling sad about the whole ordeal, but at the given time where he actually dies, it feels really rushed, and there's not really a whole lot of emotion in that scene. Regardless of the second half being rushed, I do admire this film a lot. I admire the character, I admire the tone that they brought into it, and I actually do like the climax of the film where he is chasing the Red Skull and getting the Tesseract. And let's talk about the Tesseract real quick. This is the first movie, well, not really the first movie, it was introduced in the after credits of Thor. It was the first time that we saw one of the Infinity Stones, the Tesseract, which is a major key in the Avengers film that comes out right after this movie. So yes, guys, Captain America is my favorite Marvel character. I really enjoy him as a character, and if you think about it, he's the first kind of hero that we get in the MCU. Tony Stark is just a narcissist, the Incredible Hulk is just a monster, Thor is arrogant, but Captain America, that's our first kind of hero where we actually stand behind him. Even in the scene where he goes off to save Bucky, that's our first kind of glimpse of him doing the right thing even though it's against authority. So no matter if he's breaking authority, you understand where he's coming from as a character, and he's just trying to do the right thing. Captain America is my favorite superhero, and even though this film does have minor problems, I really do admire it a lot. So yes, guys, that was my review to Captain America: The First Avenger. The next film is gonna be The Avengers. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I have not reviewed The Avengers, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. Thank you guys so much. I'm Corbin Stuckey, and this is Pixel Talk.